I do, however, join with the Minister in thanking Essex Police for the way in which they are dealing with a very difficult current situation.
Here's the Tory, Baroness Lang, trying her best not to blame Reform, who are stoking hate and inciting violence over protests in Epping outside the Bell Hotel, which is housing asylum seekers.
It should be noted, amongst the misinformation that is out there, that both of the men who've been accused of serious crimes are now in custody awaiting trial. Our justice system is working. But does the Minister agree with me that it's the duty of elected representatives, all elected representatives, regardless of which party they represent?
She's talking about reform.
But we saw with our own eyes, didn't we, the pictures of the police escorting, is the word they use, into the protest, into the heart of the protest.
To do their best to encourage community cohesion and to calm down a potentially riotous situation. The Minister has said just about that in these last few minutes. The considerable amount of misinformation that is being spread by particular political party.
Instead, we've got No Idea Nigel being totally irresponsible.
Have a look at this video.
If these are locals, why are they getting in a police car? Where time's the next bus? You wait 15 minutes for a bus and then 3 come all along at once. Look, they're all cramming in.
This shows Stand Up to Racism, as they're called, with Antifa, a violent, thuggish group, arriving at the train station and literally, by Essex Police, being bussed to the Bell Hotel.
But it turns out he was wrong, as the Essex Police Chief explains. We've not driven anybody to that protest, Mr Harrington said. People made their own way there. We did take people away for their safety, for the safety of everyone there, because it was the best operational thing to do to prevent violence, to defuse the situation. So being typical non-apology Nigel, he admitted he'd made a mistake. But if he made a mistake here, could he be wrong about who was being escorted and why? Of course he could, but that doesn't matter to Nigel. It's just facts getting in the way of a good opportunity to get people all riled up and angry. Farage said, "Well, I got a phone call from a police officer who was in charge of the situation that night to say that I was wrong. They did not bus them to the protest. They walked them to the protest and bussed them back later. So if I was slightly out on accuracy, I apologise, but I think the gist of what I was saying was right."
Is unfortunate and is working against community cohesion. Will the Minister join with me in calling everyone involved in the situation in the Epping Forest area and across Essex to stop inciting violence, to call for calm, and to think of the vulnerable people that we should all be protecting?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Not with No Idea Nigel doing his best to make things worse. Click here for more Reform Reprobates.